Hello, my name is Shiny Doggy, and I'm doing another outdoor illustration. I did remember to bring a pencil this time. I still haven't found the black colored pencil, but whatever. And I also brought um, a mechanical eraser. I think that's what it's called. I got it for free when I ordered these colored pencils and some pens. So thanks, Tombo. And then opening my sketchbook, and then you can see the one from before. Oops. Yeah, it's usually I can like navigate the like pressing down the lead to pop out the pencil, but not so great there. So as always, start with some basic sketch lines, map out the area that you're looking at. Probably should put, well, in the thumbnail it'll have, go back to the thumbnail, go to the thumbnail and you'll see what I was drawing. This is a very, very nice outdoor cafe that's on a part of the LA River that has like, it's called a restoration project, but I don't think that that's correct because the LA River is kind of man-made. But so there's like it's all exterior technically, but there is covering in the area that I'm sitting in. And then it looks out to the bike and walking trails. I wanted to have an indoor and an outdoor area, like just some added dimension. Before, it was kind of just all outdoor. But I've been drawing a lot of enclosed areas and adding the windows. I've just been putting parking lots, and I'm like, okay, that's kind of boring. Let's go outside and let's see what the coloring looks like when we actually have nature out there. What's cool about this place is it's very like, it's the word pseudo-industrial. Like it's not, there are a lot of areas or buildings around this area that are old warehouses, but this doesn't necessarily feel like an old warehouse. It's also a bike shop, so maybe that kind of adds to like the grunge. But it's like a cement wall and then there's like graffiti on it. So it added, I don't know, a lot of texture then instead of just like a nice clean painted wall. Not saying this place is dirty, it's just, you know what I mean, simplified. And so I'm going ahead with the lighter colors first, doing the window, getting the light blues, getting the peaches, getting the mountains in the background, which is also going to be a little hard, but there were like 4 layers of mountains that's just like visible from this area. I really love coming here because a bunch of people bring their dogs, but then also when you're done with your coffee, you can just like go outside and like walk a little bit, and there's a bunch of birds everywhere, and then like the sound of running water, and then it's cool to be like, oh, the river is like this tall tonight. This is a tree. This is one of those, I call them skin trees. I think they're called like birch trees, but like at a certain point in LA, like all of the like bark comes off of it and it just looks like this weird gray flesh. If I'm remembering it right, look at me, I'm gonna have to go look at the thumbnail myself. But what was interesting about this tree is, so behind it, everything was like really brightly lit, but this tree is also shading itself. And so it's just a really, really hard shadow that's on this tree because the light is coming, yeah, this was pretty much midday, like pretty much directly above. So like the mountains that are out further have a lot of the light, but this thing was just pretty stark and dark. And then on the interior where I am, it also is very like overcast kind of coloring. So I'm going in and putting some like hard dark lines because there were a lot of like crisp edges and like clear blacks. And what I was doing, that area was like a piece of metal that was like lining the window. And then yeah, going in with the tree. I don't know why I got so fixated on the window part, but I did. This was a cute little string light, and that's another thing about this place is just like there's a bunch of little details everywhere. It feels very like lived in, even though it's a restaurant. It's just there's always little things to pick up on. Like there's stickers put everywhere, and the walls, even just having the bits of graffiti on it, just made it feel more alive. than a home. I guess that could also be because it's outdoor. It's like got the elements. It's been touched by the elements. Oh, he is using the eraser. It just kind of helps push back the pigment of the colored pencil, because it's very easy for me personally, to push really, really hard. And so I chose this area because there was this cute cat. Well, the window too, but there was this cute cat that the graffiti artist put on there, and its little paw was like right behind the dangling light. And I was like, oh, that's very cute. I want to try and get that like in my sketchbook as a memory. It also was a little difficult because the graffiti that is on the wall here is like a pitch black, or straight black. I don't know, whatever phrasing of color you want to use. So I did a light sketch, but later you'll see I'll have to go in and like press really hard to get that. With this colored pencil, it's also a Tombow colored pencil. I guess I should go and clarify this. When I was in school, I had some issues with my hands because of the iPad that I was using, like the way it was weighted. Heads up, iPads aren't the most ergonomic tech thing. They're beautiful. Boy, are they beautiful. But when I went to the doctor, she was like, iPads are actually responsible for a lot of injuries, hand injuries, because people use them so much. And then like the pinching and the gripping and like not letting go of your pencil while like doing that can really mess up people's hands. But people just like haven't come together to like sue them. Sorry, Apple. So I had some injuries from that. And then I had to go to a physical therapist. And when I was there, they were like, you have 1/3 of like grip strength or strength in your hand that most women do. And he was like, I think that's why you're overcompensating with your pens and pencils. Like you're pressing very hard because like you have to put in a lot of effort to grip because you don't have the strength in your hand to like grip normally. So that's been something I have been working on. I would recommend doing exercises where you can like those squares. Hey, squares? Hey, you ever hear of these things, squares? They got 4 lines, 4 corners, usually pretty even on each side. The square, you start lighter on one side and then go darker, just like a simple exercise of like training your hand to know how much pressure to put down for like the kind of color that you want. I would highly recommend that. And you can kind of see me doing it with when I'm like laying down colors, like with where I want it darker and where I want it lighter. Here. Sorry for the long tangent about my hands. But you really need to take care of yourself. You need to let go of your pencil when you're drawing. When you like, oh, my hand kind of hurts, so you stop drawing. You need to actually let go of your pencil and open your palm completely, so that way those muscles can get a break. Because I have, as I'm getting older, I have a lot of friends that have hand injuries that could have been prevented if they took more breaks, if they stretched, if they just like prioritized like their health a little more. But some people, you can't. It's fine motor stuff, like nerves get pinched, it's genetics. Some people, like it just happens. But I would highly recommend, if there is a way for you to mentally stop, put the pencil down, stretch your hands, stretch your back, make sure, like check your posture, de-shrimp, if you will, I would highly, highly encourage that. All right, big sister, hey, take care of yourself advice is over. So there's also kind of like a snake loop-de-loop around the cat. So just put that in. There were also these really pretty like purple, and I don't have the purple that it really was. So I was layering a few colors on it, and it was hard, but fun, because the graffiti, it looked like there was one artist who went and put something down. And then the person who did the black cat went over that. So there were a lot of like layers of colors that didn't seemingly go together because it like wasn't planned together, but it did, and it looked really cool. And I am darker with these colors because compared to the window, because it's closer to me, and it's the overcast. I love overcast lighting. I love when it rains, and I love just kind of, it just feels more saturated. I want to say dreary, but it's not. But that's what people associate with dreary, but it's just like very, very saturated because like the light is kind of bouncing around more. And I know that doesn't seem like it because it's like the clouds, but it's like trapped. I don't know. Go find a scientist and you can learn about it. But yeah, going in and making these colors richer. I haven't colored the wall yet, but I do have a lot of the tough elements. What's cool about like graffiti and spray paint is while a lot of the times it's opaque, I think that's what I'm trying to say, opaque, like you can't see through it. A lot of the times the wall comes through with it. So what you can do is you can put down these colors and then you can do like a large light pass of the wall color over all of it. And when you do that, it kind of harmonizes it harmonizes all of the colors because it has a general hue that's in it. So with digital illustration, I do this a lot too with like interiors. I'll put like a soft brush real quick of like where the light's coming from, of just like a light yellow or like peach or neon blue. I don't know, whatever light is coming from a specific area. If there's a really high concentration of light coming from a direction, then I'll just like put that in there, and then I'll do it as like a very like, it depends, but usually like 4% like soft light layer. And what that does is it makes it feel less separated, because with illustration it's very easy to like segment each little part, but if you fixate or focus in on something too much, it feels displaced. I'm trying to think of the words for this. It feels like out of picture. It doesn't feel like it belongs there because there was like, it sticks out. Oh, hey, look, I found it. It sticks out too much. So putting general swaths over it, swaths, I don't know the word. Look, I'm not a linguist. I'm just an artist. Trying to make you feel better about drawing outside and in public. So putting the general color over it helps it feel more united. This, I kind of simplified this because there were a lot of like random chunks and layers to the ceiling, and I was like, I'm just gonna go right up to the edge of the ceiling. This is a pole, and then the pole like went over. I don't know, it was confusing. Here is a technique I do not advise. So last time I forgot my black colored pencil, or just a pencil, but I remembered to bring that, and I remembered to bring the mechanical eraser, but I forgot my Ziploc. I usually have a Ziploc with my sharpener, so that way I can just have that and then dump it when I find a trash can. Luckily, the place here had very accessible trash cans, so I was able to just go dump that there. But I recommend bringing a Ziploc just because you never know what's going to be left out. So again, there were just colors that I didn't have that I was placing in from the previous graffiti artist before the cat was laid down. So I'm going in and trying to get those colors in. There is also, the wall was like this grayish olive. The last building that I kind of struggled with was like a limestoney, but I guess it's cement and overcast, but also weathered cement. And weathered cement kind of gets this like turquoisey color. I don't know if it's like algae or something. Again, not a scientist, but it does have this coloration that comes from it. And these were just wood benches. And this place, I definitely felt like this place was a lot cooler than the previous illustration. But again, I just really want to encourage people to look for spaces that have interesting enough things going on. Because like the cement thing, I learned that from just rendering a lot of cement. I'm not saying I'm like the most amazing person in the world at it, but that's in my artist toolbox, and we're always trying, right? Always trying to build up our artist toolbox so that way when we're trying to do a bigger project, we've already problem solved these things, and we're not having to learn everything all at once. So while it feels like a chore to do life drawing or a chore to like figure out perspectives and whatever, it just makes your life easier when you have something that you really, really, really want to make. And I also have found that going out and doing drawings of what's directly in front of you helps a lot with creative block, because you already know what you're supposed to draw. So it's just there, and you can pick and choose how much you want to make it actually look like that or not look like that. I mean, truthfully, sometimes you're just not at a level where you can render it the way that you want to render, but it's all steps to get there. So, oh my God, I lost my train of thought. Doing this, having a clear-cut thing. I always say I'm the most creative when I have something to like rail against. Like when I had to sit in lecture classes, I had the most beautiful sketches. I had the best ideas. But then when I had like completely open time and I could do whatever, everything was blank. So creating these kind of things that, I mean, I do want to do this, but you kind of don't. And I think it's okay to be honest about that. You kind of are like, I would rather draw this like wild, amazing landscape or whatever. But giving yourself a task that, I guess it's like front brain, back brain, I don't know, that you're not 100% using every little gear in your brain to do, leaves room for things to stir in the back of your mind and like conjure and become other things. And you learn and you conjure. So I think that this is mostly wrapping up. I wanted to save things that were very fine, like the wiring on this light, towards the end. Because if I'm going in with like the swaths of color, as I have been saying, it's going to blend a lot of the pencil lines, specifically because it is such a soft lead. And I was using it as a color tool to create that cement color. I did omit the people. I wish that it was a completely empty cafe, but unfortunately it was not. But you know what? Maybe it's fortunate because I really like this place, and a bunch of people being there means that it's going to stay in business. At least we hope. I don't always recommend this, but sometimes if I'm being, for lack of a better words, lazy, I go in and put like a hard line around the object that I'm drawing. I'm like, whatever, you get it. I think for me, the most exciting part about doing this illustration / colored pencil painting sort of thing is having the clear-cut coloring of the interior versus the exterior. I was talking about that a lot, about I'm making a lot of rooms right now, and I feel like the windows are so boring, and I'm just putting like a general light color behind it. So I wanted to figure out how to like really simply create two areas. And I feel like I was pretty successful with that. The cat, oh my goodness, the cat was very difficult because there were like flowers inside of the cat. So it was a lot of back and forth trying to get that to render correctly. But here it is. I am happy with it. Here's the whole space. say hello to the people that I did not draw in. You can see the cat. I didn't 100% render it the way that it is, but I like it enough. I feel like I got what I needed from this. And you can kind of see in the upper part. Oh, I also chose the shadowed part of the interior. Next time, I think I'd like to do the umbrellas because I really love like the glows that each of the colors put underneath it. But yeah, one coffee down, one general illustration. And like I said, this isn't like the most perfect thing ever. It's just more about like going outside, feeling a part of a community, and learning. And I feel like I learned a lot. I hope that you learned a lot. I hope that these discussions helped you in some way or another, or just like kept you company. Thank you so much.